Sebastian Vettel, Ferrari issued team orders after failed strategy at Australian GP. Ferrari team boss Sebastian Vettel explained the team were concerned an early pit stop by Vettel didn't provide the German with the grip he expecting. The 31-year-old was given medium tires when Ferrari decided to be the first of the leading drivers to make a pit stop. As the race developed, Vettel struggled with the tires and Leclerc gained on the four-time world champion but was given team orders and told not to overtake. Binotto revealed the decision was made to bring both cars home safely and both drivers finished 4th and 5th in Melbourne. Whenever you pit it may be a risk and I think it was more important to bring the car home and score the points, said Binotto. There are sometimes races where you are not the best but it's still important to score points and in the end that was our choice. Vettel and Leclerc had been on different strategies for the second stint of the race. Leclerc had pitted 14 laps later than Vettel and was given the harder compound tire, a decision which saw the Monacan quickly close down Vettel's 12-second lead. I asked but I had to hold position, Leclerc said after the race. This season Formula One have introduced an additional incentive in the form of one extra point being awarded to the driver who sets the fastest lap time. The idea is to keep drivers competing until the end of the race. The only requirement is that a driver must finish the race in the top 10 places for their fastest lap to be taken into account. When Seb pitted to put the medium tires he didn't find the grip he was expecting and was attacked by Max Verstappen, Binotto said. So we decided to take the car home. He was managing the tires to the end. 10 laps to the end as a team we decided not to take any risks, hold positions and to bring the cars home scoring points. After the race Vettel admitted he didn't have the same trust in the car following the first pit stop. Initially I thought yes, but to be honest the whole second stint on the medium tires wasn't very strong, Vettel said. The first stint I was fairly happy, maybe a bit the opposite to Charles Leclerc, but the second I was not. At this point, I'm not sure why but I'm sure there is a reason so we need to get a little bit deeper and have a good look, but clearly there was something going on. I didn't have the same trust and feel in the car that I had in the first stint so I was struggling with overall pace throughout the second stint and obviously at the end I was struggling really with tires. Who had more than a 20-second lead over teammate Lewis Hamilton in second place, with the final podium spot taken by Red Bull's Max Verstappen. Next news: Leclerc already victim of Ferrari team orders. Charles Leclerc's number 2 status at Ferrari is already in effect after being told not to challenge teammate Sebastian Vettel. Prior to the season opener in Melbourne, Ferrari boss Sebastian Vettel said the new duo were free to fight each other but that was not the case come race day. Leclerc, on debut for Ferrari, was closing in on Vettel in the final stages of what was a very forgettable race for the Scuderia. But, when asked if he can push his teammate any closer, he was simply told back off to have some margin. Vettel would limp home in P4 with Leclerc hanging back in P5, whilst rivals Mercedes recorded a 1-2 finish and Red Bull secured the final podium spot. Vettel was asked whether there was any discussion on his side about swapping positions. He said, "No, I mean obviously it was clear so I think everything goes normal. I don't have much chance to fight anybody at that point because I was quite slow. For me it was just making sure I get to the end." Leclerc, meanwhile, said he understood the team's decision. "I got off to a great start and found myself in a good shape to fight," Leclerc said. "I tried to overtake Max on the outside but Seb was blocked by the 2 Mercedes. I also went outside Vettel, and I don't know if he saw me, but I had to go on the grass because I didn't have any space left and I lost a position to Max." In general, the car was quite difficult to drive. However, the second stint was more positive. I had the pace to get past Seb, but the team decided to freeze the positions via team radio. In the end, there was nothing to win. I understand. Ferrari finished nearly a minute behind Mercedes, but Leclerc is confident the timesheet does not tell the actual story. He added, "It wasn't a fantastic race, but on the other hand we know that the Melbourne track is atypical. That's why we don't have to panic. We know that the Mercedes is very strong, but we are much closer to them than we have seen today." Next news race, Bottas back with a vengeance in Melbourne. After a winless 2018 campaign, Valtteri Bottas came out fighting in Melbourne on Sunday, taking an easy victory ahead of Lewis Hamilton in Mercedes' first 1-2 of the season. Bottas made a lightning start and got the jump on Hamilton to lead the Australian Grand Prix. The Finn, who insisted throughout the preseason that he can win this year's championship, showed fighting spirit after losing out on pole 24 hours earlier. He built up a lead of more than 4 seconds over Hamilton when the Brit came into the pits for his stop on lap 16. Mercedes reacted to Ferrari stopping Sebastian Vettel a lap earlier, lessening the impact of the Scuderia's attempts at an undercut. Vettel was just 2 seconds behind Hamilton, having halved the deficit. Back at the front, Bottas stayed out as his soft tires continued to deliver. While Hamilton seemed to struggle on his mediums, Bottas laid down a new fastest lap of the race on lap 19 and again on lap 22. Bottas, leading Max Verstappen by 15s, pitted on lap 23, 7 laps later than Hamilton. Verstappen and Charles Leclerc also ran long first stints, coming in on laps 26 and 29. Leclerc put on the hard tires, those he was racing against were all on the mediums. As the stops played out, Bottas was leading by 15 seconds ahead of Hamilton, who had Vettel in his mirrors. The Ferrari driver in turn was being hunted by Verstappen, who was on tires that were 11 laps fresher. Verstappen used DRS to take third off Vettel, the German unable to launch a defense of any sort. As Bottas romped ever closer to the win, Hamilton came under pressure from Verstappen. The Red Bull driver, in his Honda-powered RB15, closed the gap to just over a second only to make a mistake and run off the track. That settled the podium, with Bottas taking the win by 21 seconds ahead of Hamilton and Verstappen. With Vettel struggling for pace, and asking Ferrari why, Leclerc closed the gap to 7/10 only to seemingly be told to hold station. He backed off and finished the race 5th to Vettel's P4. Kevin Magnussen was 6th ahead of Nico Hülkenberg, Kimi Räikkönen and Lance Stroll, while Rinio Kvyat held off Pierre Gasly for the final point. Lando Norris was P12 on his debut as he had fun playing with the Alfa Romeos, first with Räikkönen and then Antonio Giovinazzi. He wasn't able to pass Räikkönen, but after several attempts made it stick against the other Alfa. Giovinazzi dropped back to 15th place. As to be expected, Williams claimed the wooden spoon with George Russell P16, while Robert Kubica, who damaged his front wing on the very first lap when he drove into the back of Pierre Gasly, was 17th. They were 2 and 3 laps down on race winner Bottas. Carlos Sainz delivered the first retirement of the Grand Prix as his Renault-powered McLaren went up in smoke on lap 11. He pulled into the pit lane entrance before stopping the car while marshals rushed to the scene with fire extinguishers. It was a wretched start for Australia's Daniel Ricciardo as he tried to sneak up the inside of Sergio Perez only to run onto the grass and lose his front wing. He was forced into the pits for a new nose and came out at the back of the pack. Ricciardo retired on lap 31, parking his RS19 in the Renault garage. Moments later, Romain Grosjean, who had a tardy pit stop when Haas battled to change his front left, pulled off onto the side of the track. The front left wheel was wobbling as he came to a halt, reporting that the suspension is broken. As for the new point for the fastest lap, that went to Bottas on lap 57 to bring his tally to 26 points. Thank you for watching the video. Be sure to share and subscribe to your channel to get the latest sports news around the world. Wished health and success. Goodbye.